Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pugs' channel. I was recently invited into the closed beta for Card Hunter, a game whose development I've been following for almost 2 years now, and I've been eagerly anticipating it since I first read about it in PC Power Play. What is Card Hunter? Well, it's something of a new beast in the gaming world. It incorporates elements of role-playing games, especially pen and paper style role-playing games, as well as collectible card games, and it combines these two elements into an intriguing core mechanic that I haven't really seen before in other PC games. Probably the easiest way to explain how Card Hunter plays is to actually show you it in action. Okay, so in Card Hunter you have a party of 3 adventurers. I've got my human wizard, my dwarven priest, and my elvish warrior. And like in any role-playing game, your characters have combat abilities. But in Card Hunter, each of those abilities is represented by cards. So down the bottom here I have my 3 characters and their cards that they've currently drawn. So at the start of each battle, you draw 3 cards from your deck, plus you automatically gain your movement card for whatever your basic character's movement card is. And these cards are the combat abilities in my deck. So this card here, Spark, it's a basic lightning bolt spell. My wizard can cast that. Currently the only one he can see is this kobold over here. But if I play that card now, which I'll do so, it'll cast Spark onto the Kobold Avenger. Now, the kobolds all have their own decks of cards also, and you can see there that the priest has played his movement card spell to get a little bit closer to us. So the kobold priest there will have spells like healing spells, maybe some buff spells, that sort of thing. My wizards in Card Hunter tend to have area of effect spells, long range damaging spells, and tile modification spells. So I could change a tile into lava, and anybody standing on it at the start of the next turn will take a lot of damage. Priests tend to have things like healing, buffing. They're fairly heavily armored, so they can kind of do some tanky stuff also. And in later levels, they get draining attacks, so they damage opponents and heal themselves with that damage. And warriors tend to have, again, armor and a lot of melee attacks. Some kind of slightly ranged melee attacks in like spear attacks, which have a range of 2, but pretty much they're armor and melee. My elvish warrior is a much more mobile warrior, so you can build your characters in slightly different ways, and I'll get into that a little bit later. And I'll get into how you build your decks a bit later too. But for the moment, we'll just have a quick look at this final battle so you can see how it all plays out. So at the moment, my warrior has drawn absolutely no attacking cards. He's got a parry, a couple of movement cards, and some armor cards, so he can soak up a bit of damage, but he's not going to be dealing anything out this turn. At the start of next turn, I'll draw another 2 cards and another movement card, so maybe I'll get some fighting ones there. But this buff spell from my priest, Unholy Frenzy, that's going to enhance melee attacks, which I usually use on my warrior, but there's not much point using it at the moment because the warrior doesn't have any melee attacks available to him. My wizard, however, has this Firestorm card. Now it's the only card I've found so far in the whole game that does this, but this will affect every character on the board with 4 fire damage, so basically it just sets the entire map on fire, and everybody will burn for 2 damage next turn, which is normally a bit harsh on your own team. However, against lots of enemies like I am here, can be quite useful, especially when I've got armor. Armor will protect you from magic and arrows and melee attacks, all those sorts of things. So my warrior might survive some, and my priest has a healing spell here which will be able to top me up after I take this damage. So I'm going to cast that now. Unfortunately, my warrior's armor didn't save him, so each time you... there goes all the fire on the enemies. Each time you take damage, you roll for your card. So the kobolds are moving up. My warrior here has armor 4, so that will protect him from 4 points of damage. However, he has to roll a 5+ for that to trigger. So it would have protected him from all of that damage if he'd rolled a 5+, but he didn't manage that. The priest's armor that only protects him against projectiles and magic did save him. So 3+ he needed to roll to protect himself from 3 points of those damage. Now everybody's taken a lot of damage. Everybody's on fire, so everybody's going to burn for 2 points of damage at the start of next turn. I want to keep my wizard alive, so I'm going to heal him up with the priest. So basically, I play a card, then Gary, the dungeon master or game master, plays a card for the kobolds, and it just goes in pairs until somebody finishes. Now my wizard here can play one of the terrain altering spells. So this is Stone Spikes. It's going to affect a piece of terrain. There we go. And then at the start of next turn, those Stone Spikes are going to stab anything on that piece of terrain. So I'm hoping that these kobolds don't move from there. I play that last because obviously I want to draw out all of their movement cards from their deck before I play that card, otherwise they will just walk off it. However, they may have a second one in there that I can't see. So I'm going to pass now and see what happens. Now he's healed somebody, that's unfortunate. I was hoping that guy was going to be an easy kill next turn. And Healing Presence again, there's that priest doing his annoying stuff. And I'm just still passing. Now he did move off it. Very unfortunate for me. They sucked me in. My wizard is now also kind of trapped a bit there, so I'm going to move him away from the kobolds. One of the kobolds plays a lunging bash on me to knock my priest away a little bit. I'll move my priest away a little also, right into the corner, where hopefully he will be protected. Okay, so they've started passing. Unfortunately, now that he's passed first, he's going to get the first turn next go. At the end of each turn, you can only save 2 of your cards per character, so I'll get rid of those movement cards. They're not going to be that much use to me, given that everybody's nice and close already. Now, my warrior's armor saved him from the burning damage that time, and so did my priest's armor. All of the kobolds are going to burn, though. Okay. Now, at the start of this turn, I've drawn a drawback card. So sometimes in your decks you'll have these poor cards, cards that work against you, and I'll get into why they're in my deck later. But you're forced to play the things first, so I'll play that one now. That wimpy card means my Dwarven Warrior isn't going to do as much damage when he hits something. He doesn't actually have any attacking cards drawn at the moment, so that's okay. He does have some in the deck, so that card, Wimpy, could have come at a worse time for me. So at least I'm kind of wasting one of its duration turns. Okay, so this time my warrior does have a stab card. I might put the Unholy Frenzy onto my warrior. He's only got one though. I might do it anyway. Unholy Frenzy buffs him up so that he'll do more damage, but it does hurt him for 1 point of damage. However, that was again prevented by my armor, so alright for the moment. Now I'm doing +2 damage because of Unholy Frenzy, so this stab card is now going to finish off this kobold that just moved next to me. There we go. Now that kobold also has Wimpy, and my armor protected my dwarf, so my dwarf took no damage from that attack. My dwarf has a Healing Presence, which he'll put on the warrior, which will heal everybody around the warrior at the start of next turn. So it'll heal both my priest and my wizard. Arcane Spray is pretty difficult to get to work properly because I have to get close, and I don't really want my wizard to get close to kobold, so I'll waste it on this single target, even though it's a cone attack and can attack multiples. And I'm pretty much out of attacking cards, so I'll pass for now. He's still moving. He's probably going to beat me up a little bit more, but there's not really many places I can go to. Now, my warrior has this parry card. Parries block the entire attack, so it doesn't rely on armor. It's a one-off kind of card, so now that I've used parry, that parry has been discarded. But when I use parry, it allows me to pick up a new card. It's just part of the parry. When it successfully parries, I draw a new card. So now I've got this predictable stab. Now I'm still doing +2 damage, so I could kill this 7 health kobold over here, or I could kill this kobold here who hasn't actually attacked yet this turn. You can see with these minion creatures, once they've attacked once, they turn grey, which shows they can't attack again this turn. Now, these kobold Avengers up the top here still have 3 cards in their deck, so they're probably still going to be able to attack me. I might use my predictable stab to finish off that one who hasn't attacked yet, just because he was in range of attacking my wizard. The priest heals himself, and at that point I'm going to pass, and because I passed first this time, I'll get the first turn next time. I'll discard down to 2 cards for each of my characters, and the new round will begin. My Healing Presence goes off to heal my priest and my wizard, and unfortunately my wizard has picked up a whole heap of movement cards, and a Dissolve Armor card. These guys aren't using any armor at the moment. It will do 1 point of damage still, so it might be still useful, but he's not going to be doing much this round. Luckily, my warrior has picked up 2 stab cards. Now, he's still got that Unholy Frenzy on him, so he's still doing 2 more damage for this turn. It will run out after this turn. but I can use this stab to kill off one of those kobolds that's right up in my face. Oh, now the priest has moved up, so he obviously wants to do something, but I want to finish off something else before it can get an attack in. The AI in this game is actually pretty good. Obviously, playing against players, which multiplayer is available in Card Hunter, is going to be more difficult. Now, I don't have much left. I've got a heal card over here. I might use that on my warrior. And I might use this Dissolve Armor on the priest. And then I'll pass. Discard down to 2. Get rid of the walks. Charge isn't much use when I'm trapped in the corner. Healing Presence goes off. I think that'll disappear after one more turn. And again, that kobold had to play that wimpy card, so he's going to be doing slightly less damage than usual. Now my Battle Frenzy has worn off. However, I picked up 2 cards. These are kind of buff cards, kind of trait cards, like the Wimpy that my dwarf had before, which was a drawback one. This is similar to that, but it's a bonus. So Impaler means all of my penetrating attacks will do more damage, and Healing Spirit means that when I play a heal card, it gets boosted by 1. Now I've got this Bad Medicine one, which will heal one of my characters for 2, but then poison them for 2 each turn for 2 turns. So you can use it on friends or foes. I'm not going to use it on a friendly. If you use that on a full health enemy, then it will heal them for 2, but it won't overheal them. So it effectively doesn't heal them and then just poisons them for 2 turns. That's how I usually use that card. However, both of my opponents are already injured, and I may be able to finish them off this turn. So this Able Stab is unfortunately not a penetrating one, so it's not going to get the boost from my warrior. However, it will do a good bit of damage. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to finish these guys off. Well, the Kobold Avenger is going to be doing more damage, so I might try to finish him off first. Uh-oh, he's healed the Kobold Avenger. That is annoying. Effectively undid exactly what I just did. So instead, I might go a Sorceress Bolt on Kobold Adventure. I've got my hotspot here. This is that card I mentioned before that will turn a tile into lava. It does 10 damage. It's the most damaging spell I've got in my deck. However, they have to stand still. Now I can see up here that the Kobold Adventure has 2 run cards revealed, so I'm not going to use it on him because I know he'll just move out of it. However, the priest has no movement cards revealed, so he might have a movement card in there. In fact, he probably does, but I'm going to take the risk and hope that he doesn't. And he doesn't, so he's passed. I'm going to pass to make sure that lava goes off. Discard down to 2 cards again. Get rid of that Bad Medicine because it's not going to help a hell of a lot. And Shimmer Armor only protects me from magic and missiles, and these guys don't use missiles and they don't have much magic. Okay, can I finish them off this turn? I've got very, very few damaging cards, so no. I can kill off this Kobold Adventure though. Oh, there goes my wizard. Okay, so my wizard's out of this battle. However, he will be resurrected for the next battle if he comes up, and I should be able to survive. I'll move my priest up next to the kobold. My block card for my warrior succeeded in protecting me. Oh, this priest is really laying into me. Fortunately, my armor is saving me from some of this pain. Still passing. Okay, we're finally both passed, and hopefully this time I will draw some attacking cards. Okay, excellent. I've got a strong hack for my Dwarven Priest, which will finish that guy off. Okay, adventure complete. Like I said, this is the 3rd battle in this adventure, so the boss one. Onward we go. We get a little spiel about what happens, and then collect loot. Now this is where the kind of the card deck building comes into it. Now at the moment I'm going to collect my loot by clicking on the open chest here. Okay, so I got a rare, which is actually kind of rare in this game, and a couple of uncommon items, and a couple of just common items. This one's actually just a treasure item. All that you do with that one is sell it for gold, which you can then use to buy items in shops. Crude polearm, yeah, that looks pretty good. This one actually uses a talent. That little circle next to it is a talent. As you level up, you get more talents. So my use of that one is actually limited by how many talents I have available to use. I won't use that one for the moment. That's just some solid armor. But this turquoise rose, oh, there's a new card. So when you find something that has a card that you haven't seen before, it'll pop up with this little icon, Force Cone. So it'll do 2 damage at a range of 2, so it's a cone 2 away from me in one of the directions. And it will slide enemies back by 1 space for each enemy hit. So that's a good one for keeping enemies away from my wizard. Quite handy. I can click on my wizards tab up here. It'll highlight which slot on my character it takes up. So I'd be losing a thick hide armor, a weak armor, and a big zap, but gaining a big zap, a rusty armor, and a force cone. I actually think that's better, so I might put that in there. And it doesn't cost me any talents, even though I've got 1 talent available down here. So that's just a nice, straightforward upgrade. This one over here, Perplexing Ray, another new card for me. Target discards a random card. Okay, so it's a kind of a denial one too. Plus a couple more cone of burning damage. Low damage, that's a bigger cone range, but they do more burning damage on the next turn. It's probably not better than what I've got already. Take all and finish. Okay, the adventure's complete, and now we can see our map world. Now, the map world is quite big in Card Hunter. Currently in the beta, it only goes up to level 18. The highest level adventures I've got are these level 8 ones. I've been trying not to play the game too much because I know the server's going to be wiped when beta finishes, and I don't want to exhaust myself before the game is actually released. But basically, each of these little locations on the map, these are all completed adventures, but they're all adventures that you can take your troops on to collect loot. After each battle in each adventure, you get loot, and at the end of the adventure itself, you get experience points for your characters. So most adventures are made up of 2, 3, or 4 battles, loot after each battle, and then experience at the end. There's also a few other locations on this map, and the first one I'll show you is this keep on Hinterlands. This is where your collection kind of lives. It's kind of your keep. And we can see through all the adventures I've done, I've collected all of my loot. This is all of my loot here on the right-hand side. And loot is important in Card Hunter because this is actually where all of your cards come from. So if we've got my warrior up here. Actually, the warrior is probably not the best example. Probably my priest is a better example. Here's my priest's deck. And each of these cards in his deck comes from these items. So if I cursor over this, the only legendary item I've managed to find so far, this mace, you can see the cards kind of jump up out of the collection to say, this mace is adding these cards into your deck. So it's got 2 strong hacks, 2 strong bludgeons, and 2 unholy frenzies. That's a really good item. It doesn't use any talents or anything, so it's just a straight upgrade. Talents down here, as you level up, you get more talents and you get more advanced talents. Let's see if I can find this trained healer. You can see down here has this little white token in it. That means I've got 2 white talents, one of which is being used for this to allow me to equip this item. So I could equip up to 2 items that require talents. So they're usually a bit more powerful than the other items. However, item rarity, in this case the legendary item, also makes a difference. So a legendary mace is going to be better than my rare mace here, and usually by a fair bit. However, talented items will be better again. Alright, so if I go, okay, now where's that? Okay, this streaked shield I've got here, if we look at that, it's providing me with 2 quite nice cards. I've got to block anything, but when I play that, I halt for 1 duration. So basically, I'm stationary for the rest of that turn. I've got a Guardian Angel, which will again block any attack against me, but only if that attack will kill me. So that's also quite a nice card. But in order to have these 2 cards in my deck through this shield, I also have to take this Wimpy card, the drawback card. That's why I said before that there's a reason why that Wimpy card is in my hand. I feel that taking this Wimpy card in my Priest is probably worth it to get these 2 life-saving cards. Especially given that my Priest isn't really a Priest that's aiming at doing a lot of damage. He's only got 2 weapons that really do melee damage here. All the rest of his things are holy items, which give various heals or buffs to other players. And armor cards, which are quite useful for my Priest also. So if I go, okay, I don't really like this shield. In fact, I had to do this with my wizard last battle. He had a defensiveness thing, which every time he cast a spell, if he was within 3 of an opponent, there was a chance the spell would simply fail, and the spells just kept on failing. And the AI was quite smart to keep, once it had been revealed, they kept keeping somebody, even though he tried to move out of range, they kept moving these damn trogs within range. So I said, okay, I don't want that one anymore. Click on it, and it brings up all of the shields that my Priest can equip. So shields can be used by warriors and priests, so it's not like you only find items for one of your particular characters. You can also build parties you can build an all 3 wizard party, or an elven priest, a dwarven priest, and a human priest. You can kind of make whatever party you like. So the shields come up, and I can have a look through my other shields. I've got an epic shield here, which is a rarity between rare and legendary. And I say, yeah, it's just got some blocks. I don't really want blocks for my priest. And I can have a flick through all of these ones. You get a lot of blocks with your shields, obviously. The other one's got a simple bash and a parry, which is quite good. Bash will knock somebody away from him. So I could say, okay, I want this one with the bash instead. Make my priest a little bit more aggressive. He can do a bit of damage with that bash and get in a bit closer. And he's not going to have this wimpy thing, which is annoying me, so I can take that off. So that's changed the cards in his deck. That Hit the Deck, Guardian Angel, and Wimpy have been taken out of my deck, and instead I've now got the parry, the simple bash, and the flimsy block added in. So that's how you create your decks for your characters, and you can create quite different style of characters too. Priests can be oriented around healing, so mine's kind of more of a healing priest. He's got Talented Heal and Healing Spirit in there, 2 traits that whenever he plays a heal card will enhance that heal and allow him to draw additional cards. He's also got a fair bit of armor, so he's kind of a tanky healer. You can also build your priests as a much more offensive priest. You can take holy relics that give you things like draining attacks, where you attack the enemy and you steal their health from them and heal yourself, so you can turn them into a much more frontline kind of tank and damage dealing priest, but without so many buffs. My wizards can be a whole heap of different things. They can be kind of denial wizards, where they remove cards from enemies, or they can be terrain altering ones, like mine is kind of built more around a terrain altering one, or they can be area of effect ones. They can even be a little bit tanky. There's things like stars with a lot of bashes, and they can be long range artillery kind of wizards also. Warriors don't seem to have as much variety. Mine's built around mobility, so kind of keeping enemies at spear's length, so 1 away from him, so he allows enemies to move up right next to him, and then he just backs off 1 and stabs them at range, and kind of denying enemies from ever attacking him by simply moving away from them whenever they try to get into a melee attacking position. Doesn't work as well against spear users or magic users, but he's still quite tanky as a warrior. He's got some good armor here too. He's got a lot of parries and blocks, things that totally deny attacks, but not so much armor. That last battle where he had a lot of his armor cards drawn was a little bit unusual for him, because he just lucked out and got his armor cards right at the start. He's only got about 4 armor cards in this deck. All of the rest of his are pretty much attacking ones. Lunging thrusts from my helmet, because it's a goring one, and a lot of ranged attacks. You can build your tanks as your warriors, as very much tanks, but they're and also absolute damage machines, especially if you combine them with a buffing cleric, like with the Unholy Frenzies you saw in that last battle. Okay, now this is actually a browser game, so it's very basic, and it's a free-to-play game. It's not like you need a massive video card or anything to play this game. And it's supported by microtransactions like most free-to-play games. However, unlike most free-to-play browser games, the microtransactions I feel have been done very well in Card Hunter. Let me quickly go over how they work. there's a lot of different kind of options for spending your pizza slices, which is the in-game currency. Sorry, it's the real life money currency versus the gold, which is what you gain from. If you find an item in an adventure that you don't want or isn't a duplicate and you don't want a duplicate, you can sell it at the shops. Let's have a look at the shop. So here's our armory. That treasure I found before, the ruby shards, I can sell that for 10 gold now. There's no point not, and I've got another amethyst shards down here, I'll sell that one. So I've gained 45 gold. I can look through these items. Now there's one I haven't seen before. It's got cards that I have seen, but I haven't seen that combination of cards through that item before. So I can have a look at that. It's got that bad medicine. I've seen Righteous Frenzy, which is another priest buff spell, and a Misguided Heal, which heals 4, but does 2 damage before it heals 4. So you can use it to finish off low health opponents, or to heal a friendly injured player who might have armor to prevent that initial damage. So I could buy some of these things here that look nice with my in-game gold. I can't use pizza on that. What you can use pizza on is this chest and barrel one over here. If I go over to there, I can buy a simple chest with 2 random items, just like a chest that you'd get at the end of a battle, for 18 gold. So that's the in-game gold. Or I can buy a better chest for pizza. Now, this magnificent chest, which contains 5 items, 1 rare or better, from levels 1 to 18, costs 30 pizza slices. 30 pizza slices at the most basic price is equal to $1. You can obviously buy more pizza slices and you get slightly better ratios as you buy more, but at the most base price, 30 pizza slices is $1. So that's not bad. Or you can get an epic chest for essentially $5, which is 5 random items, 2 of which will be epic or better, 1 to 18. But all of these items that you can gain through these chests are just the same as the chests you get at the end of the adventures, and you can simply get exactly the same items through playing adventures, which is free, or you can, if you really want to quickly enhance or enlarge your available items deck, you can buy those for money. Also, there are certain adventures. So this one with the kind of golden arch here, you can unlock these adventures by paying pizza. Now, there's a flat price that you can pay to unlock all of the adventures, or you can unlock each adventure individually. Now, I can't actually show you that because I've already done it, and I seem to remember it cost around about... No, I won't quote. All of these things are subject to change too. We are still in beta, so prices may change. The next thing you can spend pizza on is this Cuthbert's costumes. These are skins for your characters. So this is my Elven Warrior character here. This is the one that you start with, and I actually quite like it. But if I liked this one with the 2 swords, I could buy that one for 80 pizza slices also. You do gain a few pizza slices just by playing the game through the start. Like Gary will give you 80 pizza slices to buy one of these skins that you want. So these are all the Elven Warrior skins. I could go to the Elven Wizards, or maybe I want to look at the Human Wizards, and I go, oh, maybe I like this witchy looking character. I can buy her for 80 and then just swap her for my... Okay, so this is my current wizard. He's a male human wizard, but there's no real male or female set, so I could just change his picture and he'd become a female human wizard. I'll do that now. So there's my... I've just bought that one. All of these pizza slices are going to be refunded when the game goes live, and then just swap her character over. Now in each battle, I'll have a new skin, which I think is quite good. There's a lot more arriving soon apparently, so hopefully they do arrive. I really want a warrior with a spear, an elvish warrior with a spear, because at the moment all of the elvish warriors, none of them have spears, and it doesn't really represent the way I imagine my character. And finally, there is up the top here this club membership thing, which is a subscription. So I can show you the cost for that one. 1 month's worth of subscription is 30 pizza slices, which is $10 worth essentially. And what the club membership does is, at the end of each battle in each adventure, you gain an additional item of at least a rarity of equal to whatever you would normally have gotten through that adventure. So if you're guaranteed an epic item from a battle, then you'll get an additional item of epic level or better at the end of that battle. So an adventure that contains 3 battles means you get 3 extra items essentially, One final disclaimer, Card Hunter is in closed beta at the moment, so things may change prior to release. However, the game is looking very polished already, so if you're intrigued by what you've seen, head on over to www.cardhunter.com and you can sign up for the closed beta there. They're sending out a ton of invites at the moment, so you shouldn't have to wait too long before you get one. Enjoy.